It's called Carrie. Stewart Klein was there tonight for the opening on Broadway, and he's back now with his review. Stewart.
Thank you, John. This is the one about telekinesis, which comes from the ancient Greek word for turkey. I'm kidding, but not much, for Carrie is a catastrophe. Last night at Carnegie Hall, I listened to the music of Irving Berlin. Tonight, I listened to 2 hours of stuff like this. The music is awful, the June Moon lyrics worse, and it is not sung, but blared. And with all of this unmelodic screaming, there's no sympathy for Carrie, the tormented high school girl who finally gets even with her taunting classmates and her fanatically religious mother. And if mother is so devout, why does she walk around exposed most of the show in a low-cut slip? But nothing in this show makes sense. Carrie and her mother apparently live in a house where the only piece of furniture is one broken rocking chair. When Carrie, at the prom night climax, destroys her classmates and the building by simply willing it, there are a couple of ridiculous firecracker pops and a few weak laser beams. I've seen better special effects from a box of Cracker Jack. Are we supposed to be scared? This show couldn't frighten a nervous mouse. And for depth of feeling, one simply wants to hide when Carrie and Mama sing a screaming duet about menstruation. As Mama, Betty Buckley is shrill and strident. Young Lindsay Hately shows promise in the awful title role. The sets and costumes appear unrelated to the story, and Debbie Allen's choreography is as flat as everything else. The production cost a reported $8 million. According to the program, the show is financed in part by White Cap Productions, which is, quote, dedicated to producing exciting new projects. Fellas, it's time to get started. Carrie, by the way, is the first show of the 1988-89 Broadway season. On an optimistic note, we can only go up from here. John?
Stewart, what, $8 million, huh?
That's the reported cost.
What's the ticket price to get in? What do you have
I don't know exactly. I would imagine between $40 and $50.
And you would say that's not money well spent?
You could take the money and throw it. 2 hours of... There's no reason to do the show. I don't know. Are we supposed to be scared? We're not scared. We don't feel anything for the characters. There's nothing in the music or lyrics to make us care about them. So it goes on and on and on.
All right, Stewart, that's our report for tonight. I'm John Rowland.
And I'm Coran Mahalik. We'll see you again tomorrow night on Fox News at 7.
Thanks for being with us. Good night.
Good night.
Solos and duets, those two create an amazing amount of thrilling theater energy. But there's little they can do about a mother-daughter plot that is at times somewhat touching, but at other times too often silly, and even at other times downright preposterous. And then there are, of course, Carrie's high school mates, a decidedly nasty bunch, by and large, whose antics, however, are only decidedly dreary. They are simply not ever interesting. The costumes are interesting. Anyway, that's very much Bye Bye Birdie gone bonkers, and that works in a horror movie context, but not in a Broadway musical that is far too deadly serious about itself, and that is this musical's central flaw. It's the stuff of a horror movie presented as if it were the stuff of grand drama or grand drama. That's what's wrong here. If this musical had a sense of humor, it might well be on the road to success, but it doesn't, and it isn't, and that's regrettable.
Sure, Betty Buckley gave it her best shot. She is
so
great.
Good. She's so good. Oh, we'll be hearing a lot from her, I'm sure.
Okay, Dennis, thanks. Still ahead,
Thank you, Sue. Well, this has the unexpected combination of the people from Fame and the Royal Shakespeare Company, a combo of funk and high-gloss stage effects. It has pyrotechnics, illusions, high-tech, and high volume. Fame film composer Michael Gore has written some standard-sounding pop music for this work, directed by the Royal Shakespeare Company's artistic director, Terry Hands.
Okay, I'll do it. You're my inspiration. Just make sure you show me your appreciation.
Jean Anthony Ray, star of TV's Fame, is rather coarse as one of Carrie's schoolmates, but I like Charlotte d'Amboise as the nasty girl, But they look more like tarts and hoods than high school students in Debbie Allen's bump and grind choreography and Alexander's Reed suggestive costumes. Betty Buckley, vividly intense as Carrie's mom, and the talented Lindsay Hatterley as Carrie elevate the songs to an emotional level above the rest.
Mama sees inside my soul, but her face is cold as stone. If she loves me, why do I feel so warm?
Yes, there is that final bloody scene in the school gym with lots of blistering sound, red lights, and stage blood. This musical makes an aggressive, hotsy-totsy first impression, but it wears thin. It's repetitious. Lindsay Hatterley, with her powerful voice, genuine manner, and attractively plump figure, is a perfect Carrie, but Carrie the Musical is garish. Chuck.
I can see the Marquis. Perfect. Via Lindstrum. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
From a best-selling novel turned musical, Carrie opened this evening at the Virginia Theater. Author Stephen King was there to see his words come to life on stage. So was pro basketball star Norm Nixon, whose wife Debbie Allen choreographed the musical. Actress Jill Clayburgh was one of many stars on hand hoping for a frightfully good time, as was our very own Joel Siegel, who's here right now with his review. Joel.
More frightful than good. I liked the book, and the movie was terrific. It had a terrific director in Brian De Palma, great cast, Sissy Spacek, Amy Irving, John Travolta, and this was produced by the Royal Shakespeare Company. But when it opened in England, critics called it an embarrassment. Ah, the understated English. They worried about the gross and crass commercialism. Well, on Broadway, the commercialism is gone. It's just gross and crass. This is one of those shows where everything is bad. Even the costumes are ugly. It's supposed to be serious, scary. Why the funny car? It's grease meets slime. Slime wins. Betty Buckley, who plays Carrie's mother, has a beautiful singing voice, but no character to play. My sympathies to her, to the young woman who sings so well as Carrie, to Diane Love, and to the rest of the cast so abused, I expected them to start shooting flames at the incompetent creators. This book and score would fail a college course in musical theater. The direction and staging are even worse. In this number, some very inventive Debbie Allen choreography tripped up by maybe the worst song in the history of the Broadway theater. She sings, and I quote, "It's a simple little gig, you help me kill a pig, and I've got some uses for the blood," and the guy singing backup go, "Pig, pig, blood, blood, pig, pig, blood, blood." I checked the producer's name looking for Zero Mistel's name, and honestly expected 8 guys to come out singing Springtime for Hitler. In the movie, she locks everybody into the gym, sets it on fire, but if you haven't seen the movie, you don't have a clue. Red lasers go off, and everybody on stage is writhing with looks of pain on their faces, but everybody in the audience had that same look. The creators did succeed in one way. Carrie is horrible.
Oh, at least the weather is nice.
Maybe
we'll have a... Well, let's hope we have nice weather tomorrow.
Stormfield will tell us coming up.